Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host, Mark, and we got a fun, exciting episode, a trip down memory lane. Where are they now? Lore Updates Edition. Joining me, we got Christian. Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Here to make the good
Um,
times roll.
yes, I like that. We also got Jordan. What will you be bringing to the table today?
Just my charm and stunning good looks, I guess.
Hey, man, that's more than me and Christian can bring, I guess. I like it. All right, the boys are
I
back
bring
in
the
town.
big dick energy, but sure. Who needs looks when you got that kind of energy, you know?
Yeah. The biggest dickus, they call
Yeah.
you for sure.
In prison.
Today we got a fun little episode. We're just going to be talking about some 40k armies that are pretty common in the Lorehammer circuits. But before we get into that, we'll just do some quick housekeeping and then get to her. Come join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Post pictures of what you're working on. Come have conversations. If you like some Lord of the Rings memes, there's a channel for that even. So come hang out. It's a lot of fun. There's links in the description below for the Discord, or you can like message on Facebook, and automatic messages with links will be sent out. So reach out.
And you can always help support that show by joining the Imperial Tithe and give your taxes to the Emperor. Just sign up on Patreon and help support the show. You get ad-free version of the show for $2.50, video version for $5. It helps us go a long way. We're all working men. I would really like to get out of the prostitution circle if I can. So support the show so I don't have to keep doing this every night.
His body's giving out. It's been years in this line of work.
Hey, don't be like that. It's the world's oldest and classiest profession.
Not the way Christian does it, no.
And if you are a Patreon, you can also join the live stream. We record all these episodes live. We have a chat room going during the show, which you can chime in, and then we do call in guests at the end of the episode. And of course, you can always join me for Whiskey and Warhammer. October is over. If you are listening to this, we are now in November of 2025. So I can go back to hookers and blow. And just drinking whiskey.
Yes.
But they were doing a nice bourbon. There we go. And it sounds like some people, oh, gross. Someone in the chat said they're drinking Crown Royal Green Apple. And that just sounds terrible.
That better be like leftover from Halloween or something, because that does sound like just nightmare. But why are you giving children that kind of drink, I guess, is my next
This is the next question, yeah.
Weird. I guess since we mentioned dates, we normally don't talk about dates. We try to keep them kind of topical. We did a little time zone shift, daylight savings time. Normally we record episodes on Fridays and Tuesdays, but we're going to try to shift to Sunday nights and Tuesdays. So for the next 6 months until the daylight switches again, I think that's going to be the schedule. So if you are listening and you are kind of like up to date and you do get this, great. If not, follow us on Discord, I guess.
It's crazy sometimes with daylight savings. Usually people just shift forward and back an hour, but we shifted a whole couple of days.
Yeah, it's messed up,
propelled
man.
Through time. Yeah.
I don't like it, but that's fine. Life goes on, I suppose. All right. Well, this episode I'm excited to share. I get asked quite often about what happened to some of the more popular armies that we've talked about. The Eternal Horizon RPG gets brought up so often. People love that. Christian, you played, I think, the majority of the episodes you were on in that, for sure.
I didn't, man. I was out in like the first 3 rounds.
Really? Okay, well then go to hell, I guess. I guess you're always in my heart and mind, but not.
I was with you in spirit, yeah.
Jeez. So we're gonna kind of go through 4 main armies that I have, and do some lore updates on them. Where are they now? What are they up to? The 4 armies that we're going to go through are my Imperial Knights, House Aerokiss, Tau, the Solar Ray Enclaves, the Chaos Astartes, the Iron Skulls, and the Tyranids of Splinter Highfleet Typhon. And if we have some time, we'll get to my side hose, the Astrochrome, the Astartes of the Liber Malleus, and the Kroot. Yeah, there's a cat that just jumped in a window and knocked over water bottles. But Yeah, so we're gonna kind of dive in. We'll start with why am I doing the updates and what these armies are. So these armies I've had since the beginning of Lorehammer. Essentially, I started them, and the podcast has kind of grown with them. I've done a couple updates for a couple of them. Um, so I won't be talking about any army that I started before Lorehammer. Another big thing, and like probably a rare thing, is these four armies are all fully finished armies, and that includes basing. That includes objective markers. You got to have those six bad boys ready, like themed for your army, and even a storage case. I had this nice black toolbox with like a logo spray painted on the top, magneted to the sides. The models could get. It was pretty nice little handy box.
Spoiler alert, all these armies have ended up in the ocean. The end. All right, good night, everybody.
No, that's part of the problem. I don't have these armies. I think, Christian, do you have them, or are they still with my parents?
I only have the orcs, man. I only
Okay,
looted
yeah.
the
So
orc army. Yeah.
yeah, they're still with my parents then. So other things about these armies, they were kind of 8th edition, which I feel like was my primary edition that I played. Like I played since 3rd, and I've had many armies, but I feel like I never really got an army to the fully finished stage of like bases, objective markers, storage, even, and like having a full like 2,000 point army. And then the other thing, these armies were they were built around a specific list. So I pretty much built 2,000 points, and then I never changed that list. I changed one thing here or there, like 5-10 points, but it was the same list. Um, so that was kind of fun too, because some of these armies I played a lot of games with, and it was some people knew how to counter, others didn't. But yeah, we'll kind of go through it. Um, so some meta lore update reasons why I'm doing this update is when I moved to Panama, I lost all my armies, as like we kind of mentioned. They're still up in Canada, so I don't have them. But when I moved here, I wanted to feel close to them still, so I built a couple updated models from a couple hero characters, one for each. Um, and I want to update my painting style as well. Over the years, like you suffer from like you start your army and you're happy with that first model, but by the 10th model, you're even better. By the 20th model, the first model looks like shit. So I feel like these 4 hero models I made for the updated version are like my cumulative painting skills over the year. Go an extra mile. Make sure you put heraldry on all the armor plates where you might not do that if you're painting 1,000 guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Funny side story. I just hung out with podcast friend Jimothy, Gene Stealer
Oh,
Jim, recently. He, with his massive Space Marine army, kind of in the same vein, has decided to change color schemes after painting like more than half of his army. So he's gonna go back to the beginning and start it all over again. So
oh
I
yeah,
guess
it's a
that's one way to
blessing and
save
a
money with
curse.
Warhammer. You don't need a new
Yeah,
army; just repaint the one you have. Yeah.
yeah. Geez, I like that.
So
Don't let
yeah.
GW know though. I don't know how they'll stop you from doing that, but they might sue you. They're like, those are one-time use minis.
You have to throw them in the garbage when you're done.
Single use plastics.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are single. Oh man. Yeah, so let's start with my Imperial Night House, House Aerokiss. If you're watching video, I'll pull up some pictures here as we go through.
Fun favorite, fan favorite when you have to play against Mark and he just drops his army of knights on you. All right, let's get into it. So there's a little recap if you go to bonus episode 5, and you can get the full story of the Knights of House Aerokiss. House Aerokiss traces its lineage to the earliest days of the Great Crusade, when Imperial surveyors discovered a world of unmatched mineral wealth near the galactic fringe. Beneath its quiet, fertile plains lay vast seams of pure adamantium, veins so deep and rich they sang to the Auspex as living metal. The Emperor's servants deemed the planet too valuable to leave unclaimed, and so a forge charter was granted. Great mechanicum forges were founded below the surface, their blazing heart fires turning raw ore into the armored sinew of imperial conquest. Above the world's surface was left to breathe and grow. Its green fields and wide meadows were seeded and cultivated to feed both men and machine. The planet became one of perfect division, half devoted to industry, half to sustenance. The surface cities, surrounded by endless croplands and grazing plains, stood in elegant contrast to the smoke-wreathed cathedrals of metal far below. It was here that House Arrakis was born. Noble scions sworn to guard the land, the people, and the forges that sustained the Imperium. The aftermath of the Horus Heresy split the galaxy apart. Arrakis was not spared. The forges below the crust became the first to fracture, as many of the tech priests, hungry for forbidden knowledge, pledged themselves to the War Master's cause. From their darkened manufactoria, the traders unleashed mechanical abominations, beasts of iron and flesh, stitched together by profane circuitry, to hunt their former kin. Entire tunnel networks became battlefields of grinding steel and screaming spirits. The loyalist knights of Arrakis fought bitterly to purge the depths. For decades, they waged war without sunlight, their purple armor reflecting the light of their own reactor cores as they clashed with corrupted war engines and suffocating corridors. The planet trembled under the weight of their struggle when at last victory was declared and the traitors' forges sealed behind molten gates. House Arrakis emerged scarred but unbroken. Yet in the deepest tunnels, where sensors no longer reached and the air turned to poison, some of the fallen endured.
Yeah, I would take a quick pause in the story. I when writing the lore for House Syracuse, I always wanted to play an RPG with the Imperial Knights. So I was trying to add a bunch of elements of like mystery with like, okay, if you go below the surface, there's like these dark machinations happening. I tried to make it too like, okay, if you're playing as an Imperial Knight, like what the heck are you fighting against? So these like traitor knights under the planet or like tech beasts that come up later. But yeah, when I was writing it was just like I was trying to come up with a way to actually do a fun RPG, night themed RPG, where it's so medieval, but you're still walking around in these stomping robots.
Yeah, that's always a tricky balance is medieval knights and giant mechs. Yeah. It should be stated that even though we're describing these like cramped tunnels, like knights are still knight sized. So it would be cramped for a knight and like their opposing beast enemies, but it may be a little bit bigger for humans.
Yeah.
To this day, the people of Arrakis tell of movement in the lower dark, shapes glimpsed in the forge smoke, the echo of heavy footsteps that should not exist. From time to time, the corrupted forges awaken, sending forth packs of half-living constructs to assault the surface. These tech beasts, as they are called, burst from the ground without warning, their limbs fused from melted armor and broken machinery. Each time they rise, House Arrakis answers with fury and faith, their knights descending from their strongholds to cleanse the taint anew. I need my taint cleansed.
Get the heavy flamer, brother.
Though their homeworld remains scarred, the purple trees have regrown. Beneath their shade, the nobles of House Arrakis swear their oaths of fealty, their banners fluttering like violet petals against the steel wind. They are the keepers of renewal, guardians of a world reborn, and faithful servants of the Imperium Eternal. The knight suits of Arrakis were forged in the depths of the subterranean hives, their armor a deep royal purple trimmed with gold. Their sigil, the tree of Arrakis, represents the planet's most sacred symbol, a mighty tree that once stood in the capital's gardens and scattered around the planet. Its blossoms a radiant violet that shone like amethyst in the sun. During the Horus Heresy, when the traitor forges unleashed fire and ash upon the surface, nearly all life was burned away. Yet these trees endured the inferno, blackened but unbroken. In time they bloomed again, its flowers glowing with renewed purple brilliance. To the people of Arrakis, the tree became a living emblem of perseverance and rebirth. Its image was etched onto knight armor, carved into fortress walls, and stamped upon the banners of every noble house loyal to the Imperium. The Knights of Arrakis wear the color of its blossom into battle, a reminder that even when the world burns, life and duty can endure.
Yeah, fun. I love how striking purple and gold and white look together. You know, we've mentioned the Emperor's Children before and Christian's fetish for that color scheme.
Man, it's a beautiful color scheme.
Yeah.
Crazily enough, that's the colors that our old friend Jim is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I may have seen one. No, no, he did the white with like predominantly white. So he's going more like
Yeah,
predominantly purple.
Yeah, James is going more purple with the white
Uh,
accent, I believe.
man, that's crazy to repaint like that. But
Yeah, and he's got
we
a big army, so it's not going to be a small project. It's going to take some time.
Oh, that's so funny. So the Knights of House Ericus, yeah, that's kind of them. They are a relatively new house, and yeah, they're relatively successful too, with the Forge World being on the planet and just harvesting adamantium. They're able to ship lots of knights off world and help Imperial war efforts. You joked about me slapping down new players with knights, and I have done that. I am guilty of that, but I rarely played with my knights. They were like a passion army for sure. I had way too many. I never used half of them ever once.
Yeah.
The one thing we did do with them that I recall really enjoying was we played that Imperial Knight Free Blade tabletop game. It was like turn based, and you'd hide your movements and play at the same time as the other person. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember what the game was called, but yeah, it was like
Yeah.
knight versus knight, and like it was really cool. It was really fun. They used to sell it as a box game where you got two knights in a box, and then
Yeah.
it had its own like subset of rules. And like Merc was saying, where it was like, yeah, it was really cool. Mech warrior, you could damage people's specific weapons off, or like you would shift your shields to block certain attacks. Like, yeah, it was a good
Yeah.
time, and it was quick. It was a quick game. You could just pick up and play as long as you had two knights in a battlefield.
Yeah, and they eventually came out with like Wraith Lord rules and Storm Surge rules too, so other people could get involved. But yeah, I liked it, like how quick it was for anyone. I played that game with a couple girls even.
Yeah,
I don't think they had fun, but it
that's how
happened.
you got married.
Yeah. Well, you know. Listen. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. One question for you, Mark, as the originator from the mind, the wellspring from which this army arose. The tree sigil. What inspired that? Is that a Gondorian thing, or did you just like trees? Or
Yeah, maybe it was a little bit Gondorian, but like the lore has nothing to do with Gondor. Like the tree isn't a white tree.
yeah,
Um, I think what happened was I was trying to do symbols that I know I could paint over and over, and I'm like, you can paint a tree over and over, and like if it doesn't
yeah,
look exactly the same,
no one would be able to tell. Yeah,
yeah. Um, I think it was kind of a little bit of that, and I knew I wanted purple, so I'm like, okay, why purple? Okay, well, is there anything in nature that's purple? And you kind of just go down that route, and that's what I landed on.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Purple petals.
purple petals. Yeah.
Another
Uh,
thing that I
mhm.
just wanted to mention too, on the naming, some people brought up the house name being Arrakis. Some people thought it was a reference to Dune,
Yeah, I was
Arrakis.
thinking that. Arrakis,
Uh,
yeah.
I think that was just an incidental
Yeah.
accident. I don't think that was intentional on Mark's part. But it's kind of cool because Arrakis does have the giant worms, and then Arrakis has like giant machine beasts that they're
Yeah.
fighting.
No. It's just my last name spelled backwards is all that is.
Yeah,
So, yeah, not very creative writing on that end, but people have asked me that before about the Dune for sure. Um, there's some fun comments there. Somebody asked why I stopped playing Eighth. I moved, so I don't play much in Panama. The locals here don't have power necessarily, so they can't paint during the nighttime to get the army's tabletop quality. So I won't play them.
you have to paint by moonlight.
Yeah, and then the models come out all sloppy, and like I said, I ain't playing no slop. Um,
Yeah.
did
All right. Should we continue on this road?
Mhm.
The raising of Arrakis, and
Oh,
the last.
sorry, before you get into
Oh,
it, this is the first lore update for this army. So this will be new.
okay. The raising of Arrakis and the last night. But time wears even the strongest gears thin. As centuries passed, the lifts opened less and less. First due to mechanical failures, then from distrust, and finally by decree. The upper nobles claimed the lower forges had grown too strange, their prayers to the machine god too dark and too secret. Silence grew between them until the surface and the depths became two different worlds. Then one day, after ages of stillness, the great lift shuddered to life once more. The ancient locks cracked open, and from the rising smoke came not trade, but war. Chaos knights, corrupted and monstrous, poured forth from below, their armor carved with blasphemous sigils, the machine spirits screaming hatred. House Orokis rallied every knight they had, their purple banners flying defiantly against the tide. But the foe was endless. The surface burned once more. Fields turned to ash, and the great tree stood alone beneath a crimson sky. Curious, Mark, do you have this lore like written down anywhere official?
This will be like the first official lore. Like I do have my first huge lore document that I shared, and I have added this now to that. But
Oh, okay.
this is the official entry.
Only one knight escaped the fall. His name is lost to all but the machine spirits that whisper in his rebuilt warplate. His suit, once shattered during the retreat from the dying world, has since been reforged from the remains of several fallen Orokian knights, each fragment humming with the memories of sacrifice and loss. Across the stars he roams, a wandering relic of a dead house, seeking any trace of his kin. On distant worlds he follows rumors of purple and gold heraldry, of buried banners found in forgotten war zones, of voices in noospheric data streams speaking the ancient oath of Arokus. His quest is unending, driven by faith and grief. His lance raised not for conquest, but remembrance. To those who meet him, he is called the last knight of Arokus, a lone figure of iron and sorrow, gathering the scattered remnants of his once proud house, so that one day they may ride together again and reclaim their world from the darkness that devoured it.
Yeah, so I blew up the world. If I can't have my army, no one can. So the update for them was, yeah, let's just get rid of the planet. There's some knights that are lost, like I mentioned. There's some in my parents' house, and if I ever can afford shipping them down here, they're spawned out of the warp, and maybe we'll go on a great crusade with the knights down here. But until then, they're pretty much a dead house. But I do have in my hand here the model that I made to represent them down here. Um, Maybe let's move me away from that a little bit. But as you can see, it's a converted armature. It has like a Reaper chainsaw on it, banners flying, very custom, lots of different heraldry. The tree's on fire there. Let's see if we can get it. There are pictures on my Instagram and stuff of him. But yeah, so that's the updated version of that. Maybe I'll gather some more knights eventually, but as of right now, there's only one left, and the planet's burned to the ground.
I do like the sort of lone wanderer motif. That's always fun to do.
Yeah, yeah,
You can always write like a couple little short stories, kind of spaghetti western, just going around the wasteland of the galaxy.
yeah. Solving crime and wooing women.
Yeah.
Just in a giant battle mech.
Yeah.
I do have you used to have infantry soldiers you had for your night house as well. And I do have possession of
Mm,
those. I forgot.
yeah, so those came from War Machine, and they were like
Yeah.
Cygnar trenchers. And
Yeah.
yeah, they were pretty cool, but I never painted a single one of them.
Yeah. So they're mine now, and I'll do what I please with them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they will please me.
No. Oh man. Yeah, I always loved Knights. Like even when Armageddon the game was out, or Epic, what was it called? Yeah, Epic, the tiny
Epic
minis or
Armageddon.
whatever. Yeah. They had models back then that looked so cool, like so janky and silly, but I loved them. Yeah, ever since then. And then the big Knights came out, and yeah, I was sold. And like I said, I never really played with them too much. I just kept buying them.
They do have they've brought back that's epic scale and Titanicus, Adeptus Titanicus.
Yeah.
So they do have they brought back all the new updated models for them as well. So they if you wanted to recollect your whole night house, you could in tiny scale.
You know what? Maybe that's the move.
Yeah. Order a couple
Cheaper.
boxes of
Um,
those. Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, Mark, and since this is your brainchild, with the single lone knight, is there like a possibility that he could resurrect the house somewhere on another planet, or is it kind of this is the end of the line for House Arrakis?
Well, I like to think that there are other knights in the galaxy. We just don't
Mm,
know where they are. So he's kind of got two quests. First is to reunite enough of them, and then maybe try to go retake the planet. But I
yeah,
don't think that other like a new founding would happen. Um, it's just so personal with knights and like so like ingrained with them on like a weird level of loyalty and stuff. With like the machine spirit and the way it operates with their machine, it just gets super like indoctrinated. So yeah, I just don't see them going off and doing anything else. You know that you go and you retake Jerusalem. You don't just go settle somewhere else.
yep, true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was happy with them. Super fun model to paint. Let's go to the next army though. The Solar Ray Enclaves from the Tau RPG, the Horizon RPG, and we also talked about them in bonus episode 7. So the RPG was a big backstory for them, and then bonus episode 7 was kind of a consolidated epilogue of what happened and where they went afterwards. But I'll give you a little recap. The solar ray enclaves during the fourth sphere of expansion, when the ethereals decreed that the Tau must pierce the veil of space itself, the Slipstream project was born. It was a bold and desperate attempt to leap across the stars faster than any empire before them, a testament to the belief that Tau could beat all obstacles through unity, innovation, and the greater good. But the stars are treacherous. When the experimental slipstream drive was engaged, reality screamed. The fleet did not pierce the galaxy, it tore it. The heavens split like fabric under strain, and the shimmering void devoured ships whole. Most were obliterated in silence, their light extinguished before their last breath could be transmitted home. Only one vessel survived, the Manta missile destroyer Tashvar's Hope. Hurled across unknown reaches the of the galaxy far beyond charted space, there in the cold light of alien suns, the surviving crew awoke amid wreckage and grief. The stars were wrong, the constellations unfamiliar. The nearest Tau beacon was 1,000 lifetimes away. Still, they endured for the greater good. Led by Chassel Montrose, the crew repaired what they could, hunted what they must, and defended themselves against hostile worlds and void-born predators. One by one, they fell to radiation, hunger, and battle. But their ideals never wavered. They recorded their duty logs and recited the words of the ethereal each dawn, even as they became fewer and weaker. At last, only a handful remained, when they discovered Kenra, a race of frail genetic artisans, a people who survived by copying themselves endlessly, their bodies new, but their memories ancient. The Kenra offered a bargain, protection from the horrors that stalked their world, in exchange from the gift of life renewed. Montrose agreed. The greater good demanded compassion even beyond the Tau. In their final stand, the Tashvar's Hope fought beside the Kinra against the devourer's swarm that darkened their skies. Every missile was fired, every battlesuit burned, until Montrose alone remained. The Kenra kept their word, and they took his broken body and remade him. A lineage of 1,000 cloned his image to guard their people and uphold his memory. Among them, one unmodified child was thrown. Not a perfect copy, but something pure, unaltered. Monpraz raised him as his son, and through him passed down the creed of the Firecast. From the union of the Tau and the Kinra arose the Solar Ray Enclaves, a new bastion of the greater good, cut off from the Empire but burning with the same light. The Enclaves grew to command their own system, united by the ideals of sacrifice, progress, and hope, born from the wreckage of ambition and the mercy of survival. In the dark between the stars, where even the ethereals could not see, the greater good had endured. Um, this was fun to do. So when we did the Tau RPG, I knew whatever happened, I somehow wanted to make an army based off of it. And then I had to herd the freaking cats and hope to God they didn't blow up the worlds themselves. Like, I hope they didn't just spend 4 hours digging holes, just stuff like that. But they did. Um, but I was actually very happy with how it ended. We basically got the story of a drunk fire commander who kind of was going on his last mission, who the younger crew kind of rallied against, and he kind of became like a little more noble, a little less like of a drunk asshole who was a little bit of a klepto. And he took that mantle and he ran with it and became the leader. And then eventually, yeah, he survived the Great War and was cloned. Um, there's lots of themes of Star Wars clone troopers in here. If you're looking at the video, you can see, the white
Yeah.
caliber that I've done.
Just an IP thief, Mark.
Yeah. Well, we're playing 40K here, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
Nothing but IP theft. Yeah.
yeah.
Inspiration, not imitation.
Mm-hmm. This was a fun army. I basically decided that they were going to drive around in hammerhead tanks and devilfishes because that's kind of what Peter liked to do, I guess, or Mon Praz, the character. Um, so in this army, it was just devilfish, breachers, and hammerheads. There was a couple drone squads, but it was very just like drive your tanks forward, hop out with shotguns, and blast your enemies in the face, and then die horribly in close combat. And it was so fun.
Which is, to mention, a weird way to play Tau, who typically hang back and shoot at a distance. You had very aggressive assault Tau.
It was fun, man. Normally when I play, I'm like, no, please don't kill my starters, and you kill one guy. I'm like, no, we had a legacy, you bastard. But with the Tau, I'm like, throw them into the meat grinder. There's a million more. And that's what I did. And yeah, I was so very successful. I don't think I had an army this successful before. It was like 25-2, something like that. I went hard with them. It was crazy. I did eventually come into some tough times though, and the army reached its first lore update that I wrote for it.
Right. The death of Monpraz. Under the blazing light of the solar ray, aka Monpraz, leading his clone legions to victory after victory, where he and his mirrored kin walked, triumph followed like a shadow. The solar ray enclaves perfected the art of the Mont-Ka, the killing blow, transforming it into a storm of motion and precision fire. Armored columns of devilfish transports raced across battlefields, disgorging squads of breacher teams whose pulse blasters roared like the living tide. Hammerhead gunships struck with surgical fury from the horizon, obliterating enemy armor before vanishing into the dust. Every maneuver was executed with mathematical perfection. Every engagement ended before the enemy truly understood they had been struck. In time, even alien foes and human raiders came to whisper, where the solar ray descended, there could be no defense. But the stars do not grant victory without cost. During the fateful siege of Vaenor, the solar ray enclaves faced an imperial night house whose war machines towered over their ranks like gods of war. The battle began with discipline, but as the knights advanced through the storm of pulse fire, one titanic engine of destruction broke through the Tau gun line, scattering their formations. Seeing his warriors falter, Monpraz rallied the defense himself. Alone, he charged the towering knight, his defiance blazing like a sun. His stand held long enough for his warriors to withdraw, a final act of sacrifice for the greater good. There was no victory that day, but through his death, thousands lived, and his name became the unending war cry of the Solar Ray enclaves.
Yeah, so this was a tabletop update to the lore. This battle actually happened where a random guy wanted to join the Lorehammer tournament and he didn't have an army. So I said, well, play knights. You can use them. They're easy to play. You can learn and you can play and have fun with us. And he did. And then he killed my beloved character who survived like 25 games or something like that. And then he got stomped to death by an Imperial Knight. And it was rowdy. And at the end, I'm like, okay, let's roll to see if he actually died. On a 1, he's dead. On a 6, he's fine. On a 4, 5, 6, blah, blah, blah. And I roll the 1, he dead. He very dead. So I painted his mini like a statue. Like I painted him like a granite statue. and I never used him again. He died. He retired.
Man, think how much money Games Workshop could make if they had permadeath for their characters.
Whew. Yeah, they do for all characters except for Astartes. You know, they'll blow up planets. Cadia, fuck it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, that guy was a single plastic use, that guy. Now he's gone and you had to use the next one. So we get to the second lore update, and this is now this update since I've moved to Panama.
So this is the mini Pros succession and the light of vengeance. It was Monpraz who forged the solar array enclaves into an empire. Through relentless campaigns and brilliant strategy, he united the scattered colonies of the system under a single creed, the greater good, reforged through exile and hardship. His forces brought 3 planets and 2 moons into compliance, each transformed into a reflection of Tau order and purpose. Cities of glass and metal rose where wastelands once sprawled. Drone networks pulsed with perfect coordination, and new generations of warriors were born into the legacy of victory. Monpraz had done the impossible. From the wreckage of a lost fleet, he built a civilization. And when he fell on Vaenor, the Enclaves mourned not just the commander, but the architect of their survival. His cloned son, Minipraz, inherited both his father's name and his unhealed fury. Upon assuming command, the fire of expansion cooled. The fleets withdrew, and the factories that once built exploration craft were turned towards war production. The dream of unity gave way to a singular obsession: vengeance. With his own hands, Minipraz oversaw the creation of the XV-120A Soul Requiem, a towering Storm Surge class battlesuit forged to destroy the Imperial Knight that had slain his progenitor. When the suit was complete, he gathered a cadre of loyal fire warriors and departed the enclaves without ceremony or farewell. None know where he went, only that, from time to time, distant augur readings whisper of a lone battlesuit wandering the void, still hunting the ancient foe that took his father's life. He's almost like a Tau Primarch.
Yeah. He's got all his children fighting for him. It's a good time for him for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up a picture. For this model, I want to do a Storm Surge, which are made for killing knights and stuff. But it's gonna be a custom one. Just trying to get this. They have so many.
Obviously, this theme of lone wanderer keeps coming up because you only have
Yeah.
like limited resources down there for these armies, so you're just building like these one-off models.
Exactly, yeah. So, and I've lost all my other armies, so you almost get this two purpose, yeah, where it's like either destruction or separation, and then a wandering element with some type of quest attached to it. That hopefully, if I do this quest, then we can rebuild whatever armies we had kind of going. I pulled up the picture of the conversion. Normally, if you know the Storm Surge, it has its cannon on the back, but this one's holding it more like a rifle and rockets on the back. What I really liked about this model is it has the pulse. I wish I recalled what it said, but it's basically like a giant pulse shotgun. So just like the infantry, this guy has a giant pulse shotgun. He's just going to run into combat and just kind of get close and mess stuff up, which is very abnormal for for Tau once again.
Yeah. Also, the typical Storm Surge doesn't even have arms, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. No arms. Yeah, I'll pull up a picture of that.
Well, that's such a weird design choice. I always hated that, to be honest.
Yeah, they try to counter it saying, well, it's not a battle suit, it's a weapons platform, and whatever the fuck that
I'm
means.
curious. I'm sort of curious what the inspiration behind the color scheme was
For Mark or
Just
for Marks. Yeah, not the one you're pulling up.
Yeah, just straight 100% ripoff of clone troopers. You got the white armor, but then you also have the 501st. So every squad I had, I color coordinated where I had some red, some blue. Like
No, I mean
even just
the last image you had though. I mean,
maybe
was that not your model of him?
that tan one. No, that
Yeah, the
was not
10.
my model. I don't
Oh,
have
okay,
that
okay.
model
Okay, gotcha,
here
gotcha.
yet.
That's the intent. That's
Okay,
Yeah.
Mark's
That
inspiration.
that's the
gotcha.
one I haven't done of the four models because I'm torn honestly between which battlesuit I want to do. If I want to do that style where you get a storm surge and then you sling it across, or you just go third party and you get something like there's so many third party ones out there that are just wild. I'll pull up this one here. So you can see it's way almost more like
Mm.
Gundam and
Yeah,
lots
yeah.
more lots more angles and like
That's really cool. I
um,
like that.
yeah. And that's a big dog, that guy. That I believe is Riptide size.
Hmm.
The just really quick going back to that Riptide. I just thought of Metal Gear Rex. Could be an
Yeah.
interesting take on a Riptide battlesuit for any Metal Gear Solid fans out there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna decide what. But my next paycheck, I've already allotted a couple of dollars for this because I'm working on my final project here that I can do, and then I need some other ones. But that's neither here nor there. So I think that's the direction, though. Basically, I need a battle suit now that's dedicated to hunting down a knight, and only once that kind of gets killed, then maybe the quest is fulfilled.
I really want to see a battle like a battle suit. Maybe someone can make an AI animated version of a Tau battle suit versus a Imperial Knight. That'd be kind of fun to watch that battle.
Yeah, like the battle suits still flying those big ones. They're still jumping around and like the knight's trying to swat at it. Have you
Yeah.
seen the Knight versus the Wraith Lord
No.
animation? I wonder if I can pull that up. Fuck if I get in trouble, I guess. We'll pull that up.
Fair use, fair use.
Yeah. So I'm pulling up this. Yeah, this is a great scene.
Oh. Dude, but that thing just like slayed them. They didn't even stand a
I killed
chance.
one. The other one died.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always funny in 40K lore. You're like these 1,000-year-old robots that have been passed on from father to son, and then you see that happen. You're like, oh, they're pretty fragile. Fuck.
To be fair, I think often when you run into that kind of problem, and it happens with Space Marines too, you have
Yeah.
400, 500-year-old veterans. It's like, well, I lose half my army every time I play. Those are the exceptional confrontations, right?
Yeah.
You're playing like the tip of the iceberg. Most of the time, you have a knight just stomping around a battlefield unopposed or unchallenged, and then one bad day, somebody gets sliced in half, and that's it.
Yeah, I suppose, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the Solar Ray Enclaves. Maybe I'll do a little poll in the Discord of which suit I should end up buying and converting and turning into to my Ronin type samurai battle suit, honor bound to redeem his father's death. All right, we'll jump to my Chaos Astartes, the Iron Skulls. I got some images pulled up for them once again if you're watching on video. So if you want more information, you can go to bonus episode 11, Mark's Skulls Obliterators. And then we also featured some fan written lore, but I don't know where that was. We had two short stories that like I consider a canon, even though I didn't write them. They were so good. But yeah, they're shared on the show somewhere. The Iron Skulls are a warband born not of treachery, but of betrayal. Once a proud centurion squad of Silver Skulls chapter, they fought with the honor on the shattered fortress world of Dalmoria Secundus, locked in a brutal siege warfare against the Iron Warriors. It was there, amid the smog and screams, that fate cursed them. In the labyrinth tunnels beneath the planet's crust, they uncovered the Iron Warriors' vault. When the vault was breached, a contagion was released into the air, the Obliterator virus. Within hours, armor plates began to fuse to flesh, weapons merged to bone, and those once proud Silver Skulls felt the curse of the warp tearing through their bodies. The chapter's apothecaries reported the infection as terminal. Fearing corruption, the Silver Skulls captain Garen Vortan ordered the afflicted squad abandoned, sealed within the Iron Warriors' vault to die. His last message to them was a vox prayer for their souls, drowned beneath the sound of stone collapsing over their heads. But death did not come. Days later, when the Iron Warriors returned to loot the vault, they found only silence until the walls themselves began to move. The survivors become something else. 11 warriors fused with living metal, their gene-forged discipline twisted into something colder, purer. The Iron Skulls had risen. Unlike, unlike most victims of the Obliterator virus, they retain fragments of their sanity, guided by the iron resolve of their former selves. Over time, they learn to control their infection, willing their forms to shift at command, calling forth weapons from their own mass like prayers from the machine spirit. They mastered the virus that had claimed them, becoming its stewards rather than its slaves. Their every cell hums with the resonance of absorbed technology. Their bodies are shrines of war, bristling with the memories of every weapon they ever consumed. Their purpose is singular: vengeance. The Iron Skulls roam the galaxy aboard the vessel, the Cathedra Ferrum, hunting for Captain Vortan and the Silver Skulls who left them to rot. Worlds burn in their wake as they raid for technology, each new conquest feeding their mutation. The Iron Skulls are drawn to battlefields like carrion birds to the dead. Wherever plasma burns or machines fall silent, they come to feast. They stripped wrecked titans, devour tank husks, and drain the machine spirits of fallen dreadnoughts, merging every fragment of circuitry into themselves. In time, their presence has inspired a following, a cult of the afflicted, drawn from the mortals who display early signs of the virus. Tech adepts, heretics, and scavengers, whispers of the Iron Blessing, believing the Iron Skulls to be divine vessels of the machine god's evolution. These followers, known as the Farronborn, trail the warband in their own rusted ships. They chant litanies of metal and pain, welding their bodies with crude augmentations and mimicry of their masters. Those who survive long enough for the virus to take root are brought before the Iron Skulls themselves. Some are executed, weak vessels unworthy of the great gift. Others are embraced, melted down, and reforged in the ritual fires to serve as the warband's thralls and living weapons. Though twisted beyond recognition, the Iron Skulls still carry the sigil of their former chapter, now rusted and scarred, half covered by the Iron Warrior's own iconography. They see themselves as the bridge between man, machine, and the perfect soldiers that both Chaos and the Imperium failed to create. To the Mechanicus, they are an anathema. To Chaos, they are the abominations that defy the demonic will behind the virus. But to themselves, they are purity given iron, a brotherhood reborn through suffering. And somewhere in the between the dark stars, Captain Garen Vortan runs from the sound of heavy footfalls echoing through the void. Footsteps that would one day find him. For the Iron Skulls do not forget, and their patience is made of metal, vengeance given form, and their retribution is eternal. God damn, I love these guys. I love Obliterator Virus. It's basically this gift where you can pick up metal and absorb it into your body, and as you get stronger, you might be able to like recall it back out. So you pick up bullets, and now you can create bullets infinitely. You pick up a machine gun, and now you're firing machine guns from your flesh. Like such a wild affliction.
Yeah, do you have any of these models, or have any concept?
Yeah, so these guys up on the screen. This is the Chaos Lord of him. You can see like guns are sprouting out of his shoulders.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's some more.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, some cultists. They even had a nightfall to them at one point, and that was cool to do an obliterator virus night that was all fleshy and mutating weapons out and all that kind of stuff. They were a lot of fun to play too, because once again, it was like a weird army where I had these obliterators that's basically all the army. I just dropped down 10 obliterators in the middle of the battlefield and that just shot up everything. And I put them down next to a tree that gave them like a 2+ cover save. So it's like you just couldn't root them out. It was pretty fun. You didn't really move them much, but yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, the obliterators are pretty flexible tactically too, because they can summon whatever type of weapon they need. So, like if you're fighting heavy armor, you can just summon some las cannons. If you're fighting big horde infantry armor, just turn them all into flamers. Like,
Yeah, so it was fun doing that for sure. My secret goal of this army that wasn't so secret was I was trying to ascend to demonhood. The Chaos Lord, if you killed enemy champions, you could roll on a table, and on that table, yeah, you could get Chaos Spawn, or you could get +1 strength, or you could get Demonhood. And I tried for years to do that. I probably played 20+ games, and it never happened. And then I moved, so the army got packed up and is now waiting. When I moved down here, I started working on a guy, but before I did, I was doing a live stream. And I basically was like, okay, I wasn't able to send this guy, but I want to ascend him. But I'm not just going to do that. So I need people to watch and verify this dice roll. On a 1 or a 6, I'm going to roll till I hit a 1 or a 6 and transform into either a spawn or the upgraded demon prince, and then I'll make that model. And I rolled a 6, so I ended up making this guy, which is his kind of demon prince version. Let's close down this.
Yeah, there you go.
There. Yeah.
Oh
Where
man,
he's pretty
that's
big.
that
Yeah.
must have taken a while.
Yeah. I made him out of a bunch of different bits and green stuff and his Warhammer Fantasy bits. A lot of fun to build because you could just slap weapons on everywhere. So I just slapped weapons on everywhere. And that was kind of his updated model. So I'll read his little updated lore section here, or Christian can.
yeah, let's read about the ascension of the Lord of the Iron Skulls. Over the passing centuries, the Lord of the Iron Skulls has become something more than mortal memory could define. Once a battle brother clad in ceramite, he is now living forge world of flesh and machine, swollen with absorbed relics and lost technologies. From shattered Titan cores to ancient Xenos war engines, all have been consumed and integrated into his shifting form. His body is a cathedral of weaponry. Plasma coils thrum beneath his ribs. Las cannons bloom from his shoulders, and his every step leaves the scent of ozone and burning oil. Those who witness him in battle whisper that he has achieved demonhood through technology, that the obliterator virus has elevated him to a new mechanical divinity. In his presence, the air hums with energy and the ground melts beneath the heat of his core. He's a walking apocalypse, capable of tearing apart armored columns and birthing arcane weaponry from his own flesh like a blacksmith shaping hate into form. Yet the Lord himself rejects the notion of ascension. Beneath the grinding gears and molten armor, the remnants of his mind burn with one thought, the unfinished vengeance that denies him transcendence. He believes that only through the death of Captain Garen Vortan, the man who abandoned him, can he achieve his final state. Until that moment, he remains trapped between flesh and godhood. Cursed by purpose, recently the Lord has vanished from his warband, leaving his 11 brethren to march under their own grim oaths. Rumors ripple through the Farum-born cult that their master has embarked on a secret hunt, infiltrating Imperial space to strike at Vortan himself. None know his location, only that when he returns, it will be in fire and ruin, and that if the Silver Skulls still draw breath, their reprieve is fleeting.
Yeah. This was fun because, like, even though I rolled that dice and I rolled a 6, I feel like I stole Demonhood. So even Vortan, or this guy, he's like, no, he's not. He hasn't actually achieved it. Other people definitely think he has, but he himself is like, no, not until I kill this guy. Um, Fun things to do on him. It's always fun painting yellow and like dirtying yellow. Hazard stripes and stuff on these guys were a lot of fun. The small little meta thing behind them is the silver skulls are actually like genetic successors of the Iron Hand or the Iron Warriors. Um, Sergeant Dantioch from the Horus Heresy, I think, went and founded the Silver Skulls. There's some shenanigans like that, but it's all a secret hush hush thing. So the other thing that the Iron Warriors did is they were kind of the progenitors of the obliterator virus. So it just makes sense that through their gene seed, they're trying to like kind of corrupt the Silver Skulls using more obliterators and stuff. So I kind of went like that. It's always fun doing like some super deep lore stuff like that, where only the true nerds would kind of pick it up. Maybe not true nerds. Maybe just super nerds.
It's a purity test.
It's a purity test, yeah.
All right.
I don't know how I'm going to determine like if he succeeds his quest on killing that guy, because like that guy doesn't exist. I don't have a model. I don't know anyone who plays Silver Skulls. But whatever. We'll
You
get
could
there
do
when we
it.
get there.
You could do it yourself. Build yourself a chapter or captain.
Yeah.
Buff out his stats, of course, to be able to 1v1 him. And
Yeah.
roll it out. Play it out. See what happens.
Play it out. Maybe one day I will. For now, he's just hunting him, coming up with a plot and a scheme.
Do it on a live stream and have like the audience play the captain, and then do it almost like Twitch. Like
Okay. Yeah. And I can do the Riptide versus the Knight showdown.
There you go.
Storm Surge, I mean. Yeah, do a couple of these battles, yeah.
Endless possibilities.
All right, should we get into this? The Tyranids, the Splinter Fleet Typhon, and this is going to be a recap. If you want more detailed info, you can go to bonus episode 14. Mark and Trevor forever. Splinter Fleet Typhon was birthed from the depths of High Fleet Jormungandr, a ravenous offshoot spawned with a new task. Its first assaults were launched against a string of fortress worlds along the galactic rim, bastions once unassailable for a time. The fleet experimented with every conceivable method of siege: subterranean swarms burrowing beneath walls, mycetic spores raining down from orbit, and chittering horrors flooding trenches by the billions. Yet each assault ended in ruin. The fortresses held their adamantine defense, defying the smaller, faster-moving organisms Jormungandr was known for. Typhon learned from every failure, evolving with cold biological precision. It was then the fleet changed. Adaptation became extremity. Typhon abandoned the swarm for the colossal carnifexes, tyrannifexes, and monstrous bioforms became the backbone of its onslaught. Supported only by synaptic giants and siege tier beasts. Even the Tyranid warriors were deemed too frail for Typhon's brutal doctrine. When the fleet descends, its advance blots out the horizon with walls of yellow and black chitin, an undulating tide of titanic organisms whose footfalls shake the ground like artillery. There are no subtle infiltrations, no clever ambushes, only the grinding march of living fortresses made of flesh. To face Splinter Fleet Typhon is to watch the land itself rise and devour you.
Yeah, I feel like if you were a child and you looked at Tyranids and you seen Carnifexes and all the big bugs, you're like, I want them all. Like, I want all the big bug army. Because that's what happened to me, man. The Tyranid smaller creatures, swarm armies are cool, but man, just all those big bugs just crashing down. So fun. When I started 40k, like Carnifex was the big bad Tyranid model, and now you got stuff like Tyrannofexes and fucking even bigger. The lore for them, pretty simple, as most Tyranid lore kind of is. You could get a little more in depth, but basically they evolved until they found a tactic they found worked for their goal, and then they just kind of locked in. The lore update for them is a new species of Tyranid is crafted by this splinter fleet called the Lichterfex. I'm gonna pull it up on my screen after I read this, but this is currently the model I'm working on. The Lichterfex is a terrifying hybrid organism, a fusion of brutal muscle of the Carnifex and the cunning lethality of the Lictor. Though classified as a strain of the latter, its size alone defies expectation. It looms over the battlefield like a living siege engine, yet moves with eerie silence of a ghost. Designed for ambush warfare, the Lichterfex would bury itself beneath terrain, melt into the shadows of ruined cities, or cling motionless to walls until prey draws near. When it strikes, it does so with catastrophic force, a blur of claws and chitin that can tear through tanks and bunkers as easily as flesh. Despite its monstrous frame, the Lichterfex retains the Lictor's uncanny intelligence and predatory focus. It stalks its victims with patience and precision, analyzing patterns of patrol, weak points in defense, and lines of retreat. Its feeder tendrils are more robust and barbed, capable of piercing armor and draining neural data directly from the victim's corpse to feed to the hive mind's strategic awareness. Entire companies have vanished to a single Lichterfex, their final transmission little more than static and screams. To most defenders, it is a living nightmare, the perfect blend of brute power and predatory intellect. The shadow and the storm made one. Yeah. So they needed a bug that was stealthy to, every now and again you got to stealth around and find some stuff before you unleash your big waves. So I kind of came up with the Lichterfex. I haven't started his chitin yet, but he's a big Carnifex with you can see the prairie mantis kind of Lichter claws on him. Feeder tendrils, flesh hooks, kind of your
But you
typical
got
Lichter
the
build.
tongue.
Yeah, just kind of typical. Let's see if yeah, there's its little tongue.
Oh, yeah. Gotta
It's
get
not that
that
little.
Lictor.
Yeah.
The
So yeah,
the model itself, it's just a hodgepodge of bashed together kits, right?
Yeah, it's like base kit with a Carnifex, and then there's the Tyrannofex has a couple different builds, so I took a couple arms off them. There's like a Hive Tyrant sword on them, just whatever kind of big bug parts would kind of fit to kind of make my own. He has like sensory nodes on his back. Like I just kind of made him really look like a Lictor, just big was the goal. um, yeah, it's been fun painting it. Like I said, painting yellow is fun, and then dirting it with chitin is crazy to do. It's a lot of ticks and work, but it will be fun to do. Turn on a good podcast and just start drawing little ticks on it all over the place. I see this guy like a landmine, essentially, where he's stealthy. Like he can stealth around, but ultimately you step on him and it explodes in violence type thing. He's waiting, he's lurking. Maybe he's gone in hibernation for like a month, just waiting somewhere for the perfect time to strike, and then he does. It's not so much that he's sneaking into buildings and taking shit, and as your standard lictors kind of do. Yeah. So that was kind of my lore updates for them. These Tyranids, they don't have a new goal or anything. They're just testing out the Lichterfex, and hopefully hopefully it's successful and reunites with the fleet essentially. So what can you do? You can join the GoFundMe, and we can ship my armies down to me, and I won't be sad anymore. I don't know how much it's gonna cost, but it's gonna cost hundreds. And here's the problem. I did have like money to do it at one point, and then I bought like a bunch of new Warhammer instead, because that's the problem. It's like if you got a bunch of money, why buy old Warhammer that I already bought when I could buy new ones? For the price I could almost buy my whole Night House over. You know what I mean? New. So
Yes. It's a heavy burden you bear, Mark.
Thank you for understanding. It is heavy, man.
Yeah.
It is.
If you pay for like me to fly down there over 9 flights, I'll ship one item
Yeah.
to you with each flight.
Yes. When I came down one time, the second time I came down to Panama or whatever, I had a suitcase just full of 70 pounds of Warhammer. Just my plastic sprues and my bits and stuff. And when the TSFA guy, the flight guy, opened up my suitcase, like this Panamanian guy's look on his face, like, what the fuck is you didn't bring clothes, dude? Like where's your
Clothes are
suitcase with
cheaper. You
clothes?
can just buy new clothes.
Yeah, that was my thought essentially. So
Oh, man.
yeah, that was a great look on his face. Like literally, he could not compute what the hell I was doing. Like just
He's
going
like-
on vacation.
Yeah. Do I need to stop you for terrorism? I don't know. I've never encountered this before.
For corrupting the youth.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been up to. That's what those armies been up to. I have had a couple other projects that I've been working on that I'll briefly mention, but like I said, they never made it to that fully done state. Like what was so cool about those 4 armies is they were all boxed up identically perfect. Like they all had matching toolboxes to go in with logos on the top. Like it was all just complete. But I have been working on the Astra Crota since I moved to Panama. I bought a bunch of Primaris recast models and built like a full company of Astra Crota, which are Crotalid hunters. I'm gonna do a bonus episode on them soon. Maybe the next bonus episode, but that won't be anytime soon. It'll be sooner than later, but not right now. Is how that works. But thankfully, I was doing the Astra Crota, the Primaris Marines, and I put them away on a shelf one night, and then I heard a loud crash. I went back and checked, and the cat had jumped on the shelf and flipped the granite plate that they were on off the shelf 10 feet off the air. All the Primaris models fell on the floor. The granite shelf fell on them. Everything was broke. Like every model was crushed. Like not even just broke, like smushed into a fine powder. So fuck Primaris Marines, essentially.
Even the cats agree.
Yeah, even
You
the
did
cats
end up
agree.
snorting that plastic powder, though, of course.
I did, yeah, I did. And then melted and then inhaled the rest. Yeah.
Hopefully it had paint on it.
Yeah, for sure. I licked the paint off naturally, like a lollipop. Now, I do love the Astra Crota. I love their lore. The concept of like Christian, you remember my Pyro Drakes, like one of my first chapters. I feel like I always get drawn to lizard armies or like I owned a suit of armor in real life and I put like imitation dragon scales on it. Like I feel like I just get drawn to the lizard always. So the Astra Crota will get reborn in some way. They are going to remain Primaris, but I got to work around so I don't have to buy any more Primaris models. But that's for another episode. I'm also working on the Liber Malleus. You know them, you love them. It's the couple go rounds of them. We don't need to talk much about them. I won't be doing any updates for them for a long time. We just did a big update, the Scouring, where we broke the chapter in half, and now I'm just working on the Traitors and the Loyalists. And the final thing I'm always working on is trying to not buy Kroot. Always. It's the
It's a constant
struggle.
battle.
Yeah, they're always in my
Like
dreams.
addiction.
I always want a new Kroot. Like you see these cool like AOS models come out, and you're like, a Kroot could eat that. And now I have Kroot AOS models. Like, come on, you can't stop me.
Someone
So-
should, but yeah.
So much shit. But you know, like I said, I don't have like a fully finished army of Kroot. Like I have a bunch of random spattering of shit, but nothing I would be proudly to show off at like an event or anything. So yeah, that's where I'm at with my life. Wasting it.
No, you're giving it purpose.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I love Warhammer. It's been fun painting again. You know, with kids, I only get a couple hours in the evening paint, but it's a good little wind down if you can actually manage to pick up that brush. Yeah, it's nice. Another bonus episode I want to do is actually with your armies, Christian. You kind of have 3 Astartes armies that you're working on. Do you want to give like a 1-sentence teaser on each of them, and then maybe people will message in and harass you to write an
Yeah.
episode?
I need the accountability, guys. So yeah, definitely message in and say, hey, where are these guys? You promised me 6 years ago they'd be done. Yeah, I've been sitting on a pile of Marines of all different scales and sizes. You heard me on an episode before here lamenting the different scale creep and what to do with them. So fundamentally, I've broken them into 3 distinct chapter ideas so that they can all be uniform in their own. So you have all the Primaris in one army, all the Horse Heresy scale old Marines in another army, and then all the original scale classic Marines in another army. That way they're all internally consistent.
Yeah.
So for the first one, the Horse Heresy scale army, so that's like the newer updated true scale Horus Heresy models / the same scale as like the new current Chaos Space Marines. They're slightly smaller than a Primaris, but bigger than the old Marines. They're going to be called Mythic Marines. I did initially want to call them Meta Marines for reasons that will make sense when I delve into their lore. Unfortunately, Meta Marines was already taken as a chapter name, so I had to shift. But there is a good reason for what their name and title is. And yeah, all will be revealed in time. And I've already started assembling the first few models for that one. Next up, we have
those Horus Heresy models are cool. Like they're so crisp, and like what they can get up to.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing with them is so I've found a way. My big problem with them is that obviously they're going to start making all the new armor marks in that scale. But right now they don't have like the Aquila Mark 7 or Errant Mark 8 armors available. However, I discovered that if you use the old Death Watch legs with the old torsos, you can get like Mark 7 size, like the same size, but in Mark 7 and Mark 8 armors. So I'm going to scatter and sprinkle in some of those guys. And also the Space Marine Heroes line, those like really distinct. They were also upscaled as well, and they fit in with the Horus Heresy era armor. So I'm going to sprinkle those guys in as well. So then, and I had the full set of those heroes, and I'm like, what do I even do with these guys? They don't fit in any army. But thankfully now they can all be folded into one army, all the same scale, but using old armor marks and types. And there will be new models obviously being released with those. So
yeah,
that's the plan for them. But I still have a huge pile of original Space Marines, the squat posed tiny Marines, often referred to as firstborn. I hate that term, but that is what they're often called. Just over the years, just collecting. Usually I would loot their bits and sprues for other parts, but I have a ton of legs and torsos, which is what you use to create the armies from. So I'm like, well, I'm just sitting on this army's worth of legs and torsos. I might as well do something with them.
It's so easy just to start stacking up those bits, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy.
Yeah, and that's exactly. I don't want them to go to waste. There's a lot. What I really like about this army is there's a lot of old resin, like hero type models, like the chapter masters, I believe was a set. Like those classic old one-offs. I have copies of the old Sternguard veterans. I have the old Vanguard veterans, the resin casted guys.
Like some of those guys are like, the Primaris Marines are cool, but like some of those resin, like Sternguard, Vanguard, are like peak 40K, man. I feel like just
beautiful
right
poses,
yeah,
great armor variations in them, just like
stylized.
Really, exactly. They were just great models, so I can roll those all in because again, they're slightly smaller now and they fit in with those old Marines. So I have a lot of those models kicking around. So I'll put them all under what I call the Imperial Legion. So that'll be its own chapter, but it's slightly more than slightly larger than a chapter size. I'm sure to piss Mark off with their lore, but some things have to be done.
Yeah. Violence has to be done for sure.
And then finally, all my Primaris models that I've collected. I think I featured maybe a couple of them on the show at one point. They have really cool tan and white armor. And just that's all the Primaris leftovers are going to get grouped into what I call the Astral Marines. Obviously, kind of after a star motif and light motif is kind of what they're all about. And I'm currently putting together like an artistic codex online for them. So once I'm done painting them up, I'll also have like a cool PowerPoint, not necessarily a book, but a cool PowerPoint, which is an oxymoron. That'll go along with them. With like artwork.
It is cool. Don't let your wife tell you otherwise.
Yeah, Mark's gotten a little preview of it. Yeah, I've left her alone many a night to work on my codex.
my, my masterpiece. Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be cool to hear some of your stuff. Like I feel like I've shared plenty of my armies. I feel like you haven't really shared too much of what you
I like to keep it that way.
have
I'm a private man.
yeah, yeah.
No, I will share it. The big problem is, like I said, accountability. I got lots of armies, man. I got chaos armies. I got cultists.
Yeah, and we could
Gene-Killer
scroll through
cultists.
my text messages with you and like we could compile novels worth of lore that you've sent me.
Yeah,
But yeah, it just needs
so
to be
it's all out there.
formalized.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And then the final little bit of this episode is just let's harass Jordan one more time to buy some 40k. How's your Eldar coming? Didn't we convince you at one point to get some?
Yes, I'm getting right on that.
Yes. Okay. Good, Jordan. Good. I knew
No,
you would.
I legitimately do. I still from time to time find myself looking, but I can never you know,
Afford it.
like just do it. Just go ahead
You
and
live
do
in
it.
Canada. You have children. I don't blame you. You know. I
Jordan
encourage you to try robbery though.
Jordan
I
did
could be like Christian and try prostitution.
Yeah. Well.
it's the
Yeah.
only
No.
way I
I
can
think
afford
you'd make some
Warhammer
money.
anymore.
Yeah. You might even get some female clients, Jordan.
Could I be like a cam model?
No. Still dark back alleys only, but better than Christian. Yeah.
That's weird because Jordan's my number one client. So
just learning the tricks of the trade before he gets into it himself.
maybe if you stop spending so much money on me, Jordan, you could afford something for you.
Well, I was like, this isn't that hard. I could do this.
Well,
Jordan did end up
to do that. Yeah.
spending his Warhammer money on Star Wars Legion.
Oh, nice.
And he did paint
cool.
some things that he's so ashamed of he wouldn't even show me. So
I'm gonna work on
that bad.
I actually, since we're finishing a little earlier tonight, I actually do legitimate. I think I'm gonna watch a show and work on those.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
once those are done, then we are doing some Eldar.
Yeah. Okay, so
different.
5 years from now we'll come back to you. Okay, Jordan.
No. Shit, sorry, dropped my phone.
Well, fun episode. Thanks everyone for letting me share. Thanks for asking about what these are. It's funny that people ask about my armies, how my armies are doing, but they don't ask how my child's doing or how I'm doing. But hey, man, whatever. If you like 40K, I like 40K too. We can always talk about it and share each other's projects. So, podcast shout out. Come check out Lorehammer Listen to Lore. If you have homebrew lore you want to share, I'll read it off. Email it to lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com and we'll eventually share it with people.
And if you like the universe of Star Wars, come check out me and Jordan on the Star Lores podcast, where we deep dive into the lore of the Star Wars universe, which I am wearing a sweater of that says "I am their father." And then you can't see it on camera, but my children are listed underneath.
Are you sure? Have you done a paternity test, Christian?
Check.
Hey, I'm the prostitute here.
Oh yeah.
I have dozens of kids out there that are unaccounted for.
Yes. Well, always a great way to end it. Thinking about Christian's many illegitimate children. Cool. Well, we'll see you all on the next episode. Adios and have a good